Yes, it's always the issue. All right. Oh, and here we are. We're live.
Okay, great.
Thank you guys so much for joining us and welcome to Slumber Party. I'm here with someone who I have truly hit it off with, even through technical difficulties. We're having a damn blast. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the comments. Let me introduce someone you already know very well. She is the longest running Elphaba on Broadway. Hello.
Hello.
Hair, which I saw her on Broadway. Hello.
When you were like 10.
Jackie, I'm 10 now.
Oh, sorry. When you were 5.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. And of course, you know her from If Then and Rock of Ages. Please welcome to the stage, Jackie Bird.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Jackie,
sleeping.
What? It's Tabitha. What's going on, girl?
She's over here. That little lump. She's sleeping.
What? Is that a dog or a cat?
I know. You know what? Actually, she's a dog, but we call her I literally got a cat dog. She is a dog, but she is absolutely now. She just got more comfortable, as you can see.
She's little
leggies out. She's out.
She's out.
It's been a hard day.
It's been a hard day. You look so cute right now.
Oh my God. I've been cleaning my grandparents' house all day. So like I was saying, I'm like Cinderella. This is my Cinderella, like my own little corner in my own little chair. I can sweep and wear this yellow bandana and feel fierce. You know, like that's what we're just kidding.
I love that so much. Did you do musical improv?
No.
You should. That was good.
What's that? Yeah. Thank you. I think I would because it was like off the cuff, I'm fine. But like if it was like something I had to do, I'd be like, and then I'd freeze up and I'd be like, why is she on our team? And I'd be like, who brought her? You know what I mean?
Who picked her?
Oh, she's the worst. Yeah.
Where's your grandparents' house?
Oh God, so far. We were like coming back here to be like, oh God, I was like, I have an interview. I have to be back. I'm like very famous.
I have to get on a 5-year-old gay boy's YouTube live.
I was like, there's a YouTube live that I have to be at. Okay. So I did the laundry and I scrubbed the floors and we have to go. They live in Bristol. And so it's about an hour and change away from where I live with where my parents live.
That's in New York? That's New York, Bristol?
No, I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut. That's right. I've been meaning to tell you, I worked at the Connecticut Rep Theater for a summer. And I know you went to UConn.
Yes. Wait, what?
Yeah.
You worked at the CRT?
The CRT with, I wasn't in the show with him, but I crossed over with Pat Sajak of Wheel of Fortune.
Wait, stop. What? What show was that?
He was the man in chair in Drowsy Chaperone.
Oh God, I wish I saw that. Damn,
I
feel
was everything.
Was it everything?
It's really weird to be in a rehearsal room with somebody that's that level of famous, because he's
famous.
He's been in our living room since birth.
The beginning of time. Literally since the beginning of time, since the world's conception. Pat Sajak has been around since the beginning of time. Let's be honest.
He's been there, and I was just like, Pat, what is Vanna like? And he was like, and I was like, I need to know about Vanna.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with her.
Does she get to keep her clothes? And
right.
what, does she decide no, I will not wear that dress, or yes, she has to have wardrobe choices. She has to, have final say, right? Or do you think they're you will wear that dress? And she's like, no, it's too hard to bend down to turn the E. And they're like, you wear it, Vanna. You know what I mean? She's like,
They let her host the show. Did you know that?
I know, I did.
That was
cute. She's
very
famous.
She's very famous. Though 2 of them have been on that show for so long. What a good dig.
I know. I'm ready. You want me to give you a vowel? I will give you a vowel all day. I'm like, nope, that was not the right vowel.
Speaking of doing something for a long time, Miss Jackie Burns, you are an iconic Elphaba. You are.
Oh, gracias.
You're the longest running on Broadway, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's true.
My question for all the Elphabas has been, and so I will ask the same one to you, but I feel like you're going to have a different answer. Was it fun?
No, it's horrible.
seems, I'm not gonna lie, it seems, when I saw you in Hair, I was like, that shit looks fun. If you
That
see
shit was
Godspell, you
fun.
see Hair, you see shows like that, you're like, this looks fun, Rock of Ages. You see Wicked and you're like, this looks hard. This looks like a long 6-month contract where you're like not speaking and like
You're
not
like,
drinking.
shh. Yes,
Yeah.
very, very true. Very, very true. Well,
But you went back.
that's, you know, what's so funny that you say that? Like, okay, so Hair was super fun, but I was very young then, and I didn't think about how your body is with you for the rest of your life. And I swung my hair like I don't care so hard, and I still have neck problems from how hard I swung my hair in Hair, because I was living. It was my Broadway debut, and I was letting you have it. And then I still literally have hair neck. We all call it hair neck, and like you can't touch my back without me like cracking my neck. Like it's like a tick. Like it's bad, but. It was so much fun. Rock of Ages, the most stressful job I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Yes,
Go on.
because I was a swing in that show for the 3 main dancers. There's only the 3 strippers. And I was the only, there was 2 swings, but I was the only swing allowed to go on for those dance tracks. And when we did it off Broadway, and I was constantly on every other night. There was 3 dancers, right? And like, so like one of them did everything on the left side, and then one of them did everything on their right side, right? And then there was one in the middle, right? Like, so like I constantly every other night would go on and have to do everything on my right side, and then the next night I have to do the same dance but reverse it. And I'm a singer who moves well for a singer, but I am not a dancer by any stretch of them. Like I used to dance, but not like that, not like those girls can dance. So like I used to cry every night when I would get the phone call from the stage editor, and she'd be like, "You're on, please put me and there's a huge mirror at New World Stages. I don't know if you've been to New World Stages, but if you have, there's this huge mirror by the bathrooms, and I used to show up really early before every show and do all of my dances in my 4-inch heels, because those dances were fine when you were in your sneakers. Like you were like, yes, I'm fierce. And then you put on those 4-inch heels and then you're like a baby giraffe trying to walk, let alone like do a spin. So that was the most stressful job of my life by far and away. Like I aged like 20 years doing that show. Wicked.
That sounds so hard.
Oh, it was horrible. I was like, I never want to do this
I've
again.
understudied like twice in my life, and both times, even when you go on and like everyone's like, you killed it, you're like I had a horrible time out there.
Yeah. I'm like, it's over, thank you Jesus, like that's all I can. Like nobody died, I did my job, but like it wasn't fun for me at all. No, I am not cut out for it, because some people's brains are that, if you have like swing brain or like you can like, you're a genius. I'm not a genius in that respect. Like like some of my friends that are like have swung a lot of shows, they love it because they can play a different role like every night and they never get bored. And I'm like, oh, I never get bored with my one role, because like that's all I'm like meant to do, equipped to do, because it's so stressful. I'm like, I walk behind who, and like I go out what stage X, like, you know, it's just so overwhelming. Wicked, yes, super hard. Especially the first 2 times I did it. Like the first time I did it on the tour was I had finished Hair and then went and did Wicked. That was like the next job I had. And it was my first lead, and it was so overwhelming. And then I went right after that, after the year I did it on tour, I went and did it on Broadway, and for a year and 5 months. And it was so overwhelming and stressful. Especially I got married during the last bit of my contract. So I was like overwhelmed in the fact that I was like planning a wedding plus playing Elphaba, 8 times a week, and towards the end of my contract. And then they extended me. So I got married in August, and I was supposed to be done September like 1st, I think. And then they extended me 4 months, and I was like, yeah, I'll stay. And then they extended me an extra 2 weeks, because the woman who was coming to replace me, Willemijn, who's amazing, had just finished doing her run in, I don't know, I think it was like Denmark. Forgive me, somewhere fierce, because she speaks 8 million languages, and she's like, oh, you want me to sing it in one language? I got this, thank you. So fierce. But so they like, so your body like knows that you're like done, right? So like my body was like ready to be done in September. Then I was like, psych, just kidding, let me stay 4 more months. And then I was like, okay, you're done in whatever 4 months plus 4 months, September, October, November, December. It was like, you're done in December. And then all of a sudden they were like, can you just stay like 2 more weeks? And I was like, yeah. And then at this time it's like so cold, in the middle of like flu and season, you know, and I kept pushing my body because I'm the queen of like, I won't call out unless I'm like dying. And so I was like, I'm almost done. And then I didn't even finish my last 2 weeks because I got viral laryngitis, which is an infection.
The worst.
Like not even on your cords, it's like below your cords. It's on the arytenoids, is what like the balls underneath, like these 2 balls. Anyways, so there's nothing wrong with my cords. It was like, but my cords couldn't actually move because the balls underneath them were so inflamed with an infection that like I couldn't talk or sing. And I couldn't talk or sing for about, I think it was like 6 weeks. Like it was
That's
horrible.
so scary for a singer.
So scary. So when this, I promise you there's a method to my madness. So when they called me to come back to Broadway, I was so scared. I like got the phone call. My manager had texted me and I hadn't had like an audition in like 2 months. It was so funny because Teal Wicks, who's another amazing Elphaba, a good friend of mine, we had went and saw Sunday in the Park with George. And we both were like, God, I can't get arrested. I can't get an audition to save my life. We both were like, Jesus, I'm like, I go back to Wicked. Like we both were like, God, you know, like, cause we like couldn't, it was just like this weird vortex where like nobody was auditioning, right? And we were like, we're never gonna work again. So all of a sudden I got like a text from my manager being like, hey, call me, I have a Broadway offer. And I was all, what? I haven't auditioned for anything. This is crazy. Like Broadway offer, so who? Right, you know? And so I call her and I was in a bookstore and she was like, hey, they want you to come back to Wicked. And I immediately was like, oh, they need me to like, sometimes they'll have girls like, you know, come and do like 2 months, like segue in between 2 contracts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you know, it's where immediately my brain went. And I was like, oh, okay, for how long? And they're like, a year. And I was like, and I just started crying, but it wasn't the happy tears. It was, oh my God, a year of being green. Like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was hilarious. And it was funny because I was in the self-help section, let's be honest. So just crying in the self-help section.
You're reading Daring Greatly and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay,
so
Brene
funny.
Brown says to be really brave with my vulnerability.
That's what it's like. I'm gonna embrace it, Brene. I got this for you. Super Soul Sunday, Oprah. Let's go. You know, like yes. Hashtag bless. But it actually turned out to be the biggest blessing in disguise because I didn't get to finish my first run on Broadway because I got sick that last 2 months. Getting to go back was amazing, and also I was older. I was 4 years older than I had been when I finished the first time. And I actually like got to go out and see my friends. And like, I wasn't on vocal rest like I was for the 2 years that I did on tour on Broadway the first time. Like I would go out on Sunday nights and have a glass of wine or 2 with my friends, or go out even after the show during the week and say hi. Like I had a life. I did workshops, and like, because I was older and knew how to handle my voice and handle the show rather than let it run me, I got to like be in the driver's seat, and that was like the best gift ever. And so then I got to close my Broadway run like being in control and like feeling like I gave the part everything I could give rather than let it run me. So it wasn't hard the second time. The second time it was the best time of my life. I had the best time. And in fact, I didn't really want to leave, but then they wanted me to go to LA and do the LA run. There and that actually turned out to be the biggest gift ever, because I had never played the West Coast, and then I got to do it with Cara Lindsay, who I had never done it with before. So I got to do it with another amazing Glinda. So I just finished with a Managing Cooper, who was amazing on Broadway, and then I got to do it with Cara Lindsay in LA, and it was just like, I just felt like I got the best like closing to my Wicked experience.
That is so awesome. And yeah, like, I mean, having age, I'm sure helps, but also just like having done it enough that it was like lived in your body.
It was like part of me.
Yeah,
in a way that I had never had it before. It's like, you know, the lines. Although when I went back the second time rehearsal, I swear to God, to our stage manager, Mary Beth, who is the best ever, I kept looking at her and going, did you guys like add lines? Because I swear to God, I've never said this line before in my life. And she's like, no, you said it for like 2.5 years. Like, I promise you, we haven't changed the script since. And I was like, really? I do not remember this whole scene.
There's a song here called No Good Deed.
No Good Deed? Was this always there? Oh, Fears. There's like a Fear riff. Let's do something.
All right, let's give it I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Show, I thought the show was frozen, but
that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you're talking about being a swing and that being so scary, my boyfriend is in the chat right now, and he was a swing on Aladdin. Guess how many people he had to cover?
I don't want to know because it gives me ajna. Just like even like I'm like what like 9,
12.
No. Like it's like so we had just like binders on binders on binders of like because you have to be such an amazing student to know, like, because here's the thing that nobody realizes is that nobody's there to hold your hand and be like, okay, do you know your shit? No, you got hired. They expect you to know your shit and you have to do it all on your own because you're the only one who's going to look stupid out there. So it's all on you. So if you were a swing in charge of 12, like that's all his work ethic that makes him the badass that he is. Like nobody is holding your hand being like, did you go over your 7th track today? Because you could go on for that. And tomorrow the 8th track. Like he just has to like, I have such respect. It's like, it's so hard. I can't.
Yeah, he really had a hard time with it, obviously. And
I would have died.
Yeah. Now that we have this time, obviously, while we're all sitting around to like
doing nothing, drinking wine,
doing nothing, drinking wine, about to play slumber party games. I'm wondering, what do you think it is that we can do to like take the power back for ourselves? Like that story you have about Wicked is so cool. Do you think it is just a matter of doing something a number of times, or do you think like there's something about the Rock of Ages experience that you were like, okay, that made me feel crazy. I'm going to try to do X, Y, and Z the next time I do a job. Like, why was Wicked so different the second time, I guess?
I think Wicked was so different. I think that my whole career has been, and it's so funny that like, and I think it's not even me, it's everybody. I think we are our biggest obstacle. Right? Like our self-doubt and our, like when you watch people that with like that our careers are just like absolutely out of control. Yes. Are they gorgeously, amazingly talented? Absolutely. But no matter how gorgeously, amazingly talented you are, you wouldn't get where you are unless you got out of your own way. And so many times we are the thing that blocks us from getting where we want to go. And I deal with it every day. I think, especially artists, and I think that we are the most tortured in the fact that we have like such soaring highs and lows, like, and they are instantaneous. Like you can go from like being like, oh, I'm so amazing to I can't believe I work. I'm the worst thing ever in like a fraction of a millisecond. Like we are so, like constantly, and to find a way to be able to like harness our creativity and be able to be in the forefront of it, and rather than let it like drive, like, run away with us. I think that is what makes our experiences, like where I was able to have an amazing experience with Wicked the second time, is because I was in the driver's seat rather than letting it be in the driver's seat. And so much I think of us as actors, because we are unfortunately at the will of somebody being like, yes, I will give you a chance. We don't get to, most of the time, unless you write something or do something like what you're doing right now, insane. You have created this opportunity for yourself, right? Yeah. Like you were like, I'm going to create this opportunity for me, and you are a creator. Therefore you weren't waiting for somebody to give you a handout. And so much of us as actors we are waiting for not a handout, but we're waiting for somebody to be like, yes, I have a job for you. And yes, you're worthy of it. So I think that what changes us as actors and changes us as even human beings is finally being able to say, I'm going to get out of my own way and have the confidence that I know that I am worthy no matter what. No matter if you say I'm not, right? Like, even if I like audition for something, I mean, how many times have you auditioned for something and you gave it your all and you flipping killed it and you deserve it times 8,000%, right? Like but you still don't get it. How do you not let that prey on your insecurities, right?
Right.
And then not let it, so like learning how to just be like, this has nothing to do with me. There's nothing to do with me. I'm still amazing. And just like keep persevering after how many no's. right? Like
Right. I
it's
think
just
I'm so glad I asked you that question because that was a wonderful answer. That was like kind of a hardball question, but since we were talking about self help, I'm so glad I asked you that. That is really beautiful and really true. And I think most of us know that like on the surface, and I think now is actually like such a wonderful gift to you have to really practice it. Like you
oh
gotta
my God. So and it's
really
exhausting.
yes.
It
Yeah.
really is exhausting. And it's like if you have somebody to hold you accountable, like you just had D, and that's how we met, is that D
Yeah.
Rastioli, who is like my one of my best friends, and she is just like the most amazing human being in the world.
Yeah.
But like we both hold each other accountable for things, like, you know, I'll call her when I'm feeling down and she like reminds me to be like, Jackie, no, that's not true, and like blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, that's right. And then like I'll do the same for her. But also it's just showing up and doing the work every day, like meditating, whatever it is for you. Like for me, it's like meditation has helped me so much.
Me
That
too.
is truly what has changed. That was a huge change for me in my performance with Wicked this last time compared to my first time, is that I meditated, even if it was 2 minutes right before I went on stage, changed so that I when I entered the stage, I was on a level playing field, right? You know what I mean? Like rather than like bring on that nervousness and then the rest of your performance is kind of like stemming from here, and like you can only do so much because you're kind of trying to just stay still, like not fall over. If you can
Yeah.
start from an even base, then you can flip and do anything. You can jump up and down, you can fall, you can go sideways, you know what I mean? Like because you're at that, like you're centered, you're ready to go. And I think a lot of actors, I mean, at least for me, I was always very afraid of meditating because I like my craziness. I like the fact that I have a lot
Yeah.
of energy. I like that I'm like super rambunctious. So I thought like meditation would take that away from me and I'd be like very chill and zen, and like I would lose who I was,
Right.
right? Which is not me. I'm kooky and like that's it. But it didn't. It just made me in control of who I am and be able to
Yes.
like harness
Harness
my
it.
energy rather
Yeah.
than like let it like run me, you
I
know?
think that is a huge misnomer and a huge that was why I didn't want to do it either.
Mhm.
Our anxiety is not our personality and it's not
No.
our identity, but we confuse it because the anxiety is often what drives our ambition and our kookiness and our
Yeah.
being funny and if you're
Yes.
socially uncomfortable, sometimes that leads to making jokes and that makes you feel good, but
Yeah.
it's not. We have to like teach ourselves that it's not the anxiety that's making us behave that way. The anxiety is what we need to harness and like focus
Yeah.
ourselves. And I love what you said about like, yeah, creating it and not having to wait for someone, because I struggled with that so much for such a long time. And I think a theater artists especially struggle with that because we have so much respect for what we do and
Yes.
for what all of us do like collectively, like like you were saying, when you see Sunny in the Park, when you go to see a show, you're like, why, you're always just so wowed by like what a group of people is able to fucking do 8 times a week. But I
Yep.
think a lot of that culture also can sometimes make us like a little too serious. And the big thing that struck me when you said that was, I used to be like a very much an approval addict. Like I would go to auditions. I used
Yes.
to audition more than anyone that I know. I'd go to open calls constantly just to feel like I was doing something.
Hmm.
And then the idea of making that video with my boyfriend where we were trying to that we were talking about trying to identify the Elphabas by their
Yes.
voice. I had a moment of like, I shouldn't do this. Like this is uh, if I want to be on the same, if I want to do a show with Jackie one day, I don't need to be putting videos out on the internet like as like a vlogger or a fan, like I need to be meeting these people at their level. But that kind of thinking really is just getting in your own way.
Yes.
It's just about doing the thing. If you get the idea, just do it.
Just do it. And I
Yeah.
still have that. I have such, can I just tell you, like Instagram, like social media is probably one of the most anxiety inducing things in the world for me, because the last thing I want, is to ever say anything that would hurt or offend anybody, because that would never be my intention. Like that's the last thing I want to do. And then also
Right.
it's like, what if I say something wrong? What if people misconstrue what I say? What if I put something up and it doesn't get well received, or like, it's like you become so obsessed with what everybody else thinks of you that you become almost like stagnant. It's like I feel like sometimes I get to a place where like not being able to do anything because I'm too afraid of the negative self-talk that's in my head that's not real. Right? It's like,
real.
oh my God, like, oh, if I make this video, then I'm not on their playing field. That's not true at all. I mean, like, was I mad that you didn't have me on there? Yes. But like, I mean, whatever, I'm still here on your, I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? Like, it's not real. But like, and it's funny because like there's this acting teacher that I take from in LA that's genius. And he talks about how we all have this like vulture on our shoulder. That like, have you heard like this Jack Plotnick? He's genius.
I love
He's an
Jack.
actor.
Yeah,
Isn't he amazing?
He's so
and he talks
amazing.
about the vulture, and it's so true. It's like, where like you walk into an audition and like you're gonna forget your lines, they're all gonna hate you. And he's like, and you just talk to him, it's like, so what if they hate me? Like, am I gonna die? No. Like, am I never gonna work again? No. So okay, like I'm just gonna go and have fun. It's like, oh, like why can't we just like go and have fun? Why does everything have to be so like all the time?
Life or death. Yeah. It's like,
it's
especially
exhausting
in the theater world. Yeah. We really like, I want us to like, as a community, find like a healthy balance of taking things seriously, because I do love that the theater world, people show up on time and everyone has to work really hard to make it all happen. And the comedy world is not like that. In the stand-up comedy world, it's like you could be doing a show and somebody was supposed to be here 45 minutes ago and they're not here.
I know. Yes. I know. It's crazy. I know. I have a lot of friends that are comedians and I'm always like, guys are so low key. Like it's
so low key, a little too low key sometimes.
It's so crazy.
But they're all having so much fun. And like, yeah, I think there really is something to tapping into that in the theater world too. Like you said, when you went back to Elphaba and you were having so much fun the second time around.
So much fun. But also I won't lie to you. Like I take it very seriously and I'm like, I will give you like, that's why I'm very strange about like I will only do a riff and I will only take something up if I can take it up consistently 8 times a week, because I have a really weird affliction to like, it's not fair that if you on Tuesday went and saw the show and yes, I was feeling in good voice, I took it up. And then on Friday, I wasn't feeling in good voice and I don't take it up because you paid the same amount, if you know what I mean, as the Tuesday person, as the Friday person. And I have this like, and that's just me. That's my weird like work ethic thing where I'm like, I have to be able to like give you the same high note 8 times a week because it's not fair if one audience got a better performance than the other audience. Like I have this weird, so yes, I'm having fun, but I also do take myself so seriously in that respect of like consistency to me is like the most golden thing, especially in theater.
Yeah.
For me. And that's just like me, like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I want to live it fresh every night, but like, I also, if I can't give you the same F or high G every single night or whatever it is, then I don't want to do it at all, because I don't think it's fair that you, Tim, got to get it on Tuesday, but then like Joe on Friday didn't get to get it. Like that's not fair, because what if you, Tim, told Joe, like you were like, oh, I saw Jackie and she took it up there and it was so fierce, and then you bought a ticket on Friday and I wasn't feeling so good and I didn't take it up, and you're like, then you feel gypped.
Yeah, where's my $200 going to? Yeah.
But then I also get
she's like, I kill it every time.
What'd you say?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what'd you say?
I said Patty LuPone always says that. She's like, you're never going to come to the theater and not see me kill it. Because when I walk out there, I'm thinking that person paid $200, that person paid $200. And if I'm sitting there, I want it to be consistent, like you're saying.
That's how I feel. But then also like on the other, there is that other extreme where like, if you're like the spontaneity, like of like the excitingness of like, were you at that show where she took it up? That's also exciting too. So like, I understand both sides of the coin. It's just my brain is more on that one side. So like for me, when you say like having more fun, yes, I had so much more fun, but I also am like, so when it comes to a show, like I am so serious about giving 130% every single time, even if I got food poisoning and feel like shit, like the last thing I'm ever going to do is not give you 130%. Because
have you ever performed? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh God, yes. I was when I was on If Then on the tour, I felt so bad for my co-stars that had to kiss me. I mean, I was so sick one show. And it was like after every number, I'd like run off and be like changing glasses and thinking about like throwing up in the bucket, my suite. Like it was horrible. But like I also, though, like, here's the thing. Here's also my mentality is that there are so many talented people in this industry. There are so many talented people. And to get to do what I love 8 times a week and make it a profession and career and get paid to do what I love 8 times a week, like, I don't take that lightly. And if I can physically do it and push through, then I'm going to, unless I'm going to harm other actors. Then, like, if I'm like so sick that like I could get them sick, then like, no, stay home, obviously. But like, if I can push through, I'm going to push through. But that's like my kookiness.
No, I love that. I think that's awesome. I performed not one time, for like, I had really bad food poisoning for like a week. I had eaten like bad chicken or something. And
But
my
you were like so
understudy,
skinny.
oh my God, it was so thin. I was like, I just kept being like, I feel like I'm dying, but I look like I'm
But look at my
living.
cheekbones. I know it's so horrible to say that. Just kidding. But like, hilarious.
Yeah, but
you still performed. But
what I wouldn't do for a stomach bug right now.
It's like a quick.
My understudy was on vacation. It was a small off-Broadway show, and so there's only like 10 of us in the cast, and my only understudy was on his vacation, and there was really just nothing we could do. And I was so, I mean, I would like leave the stage and like collapse to the ground, not like so that anyone could see me. I wasn't like trying to like show off how I was literally just like, I can barely move. And the whole time I had like a dance number, and I just remember looking in the girl's eyes and being like, please don't puke on her. Please don't puke on her.
But isn't it crazy how Dr. Stage, like the second you get on stage, somehow like it magically, and you just like finish, and then the second you get off stage, you realize how sick you are, and it's like you collapse and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then you get back on stage and the lights hit you, and you're like, you become like this like superhero, right? Like in that moment where you like, it's kind of cuckoo.
The theater is like the most powerful drug in the world.
It really is.
Performing really is.
Yeah.
There's so many questions for you in the chat. Can I ask you some?
Oh my God. Yeah. I want to hear all of them. They're like, what are you drinking? Chardonnay.
Okay. One question, one down. Christine Yao from the Philippines. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Christine.
Philippines.
I know Christine very well.
Oh, that's so sweet. Alex, Cora. Alex says, yeah, she was D. She said, if she had to switch roles in Wicked and play Glinda, who would be her Elphaba she would want to perform with?
Wait. If I had to be...
If you played Glinda, who would you want to be Elphaba?
Oh, D. I want to be in a show with D. So D and I are always, I mean, like that would be my dream. To get to perform with D on stage, get out of my life. Like,
how did you meet D?
She replaced me on tour. This is so funny.
That's right, I knew that.
I made D be my friend. So D, I really did. She didn't have a say in it. She replaced me on the tour. It was so funny. I just got back from vacation, and then because I was supposed to, of course, like leave the show, and then they're like, oh, can you just stay another month? And I was like, I had a vacation plan because I was supposed to be done. You know what I mean? And they were like, so I was like, sure. So I had gone on vacation, then came back and did like an extra month that I wasn't supposed to do. And D, the first day I got back from vacation, came to rehearse. And she just came up to me and she was so cute. She's like, hi, beautiful, I'm D. And like, you just can't meet her without wanting to like, just like never have her leave your side. Mm-hmm. And I literally was like, you can never, I made her like hang out with me in my dressing room. I was like, we're going to be best friends. And she was like, okay. And she did resist it. And she won't lie to you, for like, there was a little bit there where I was calling her way more than she was calling me. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. It hasn't happened to me before. Normally I'm not on that end, but I persevered, and I'm proud to say she's one of my best friends, and I won. You know, I got her.
You won, and you won.
And I got her. Won. I got her.
Can I ask you a question? Does this sound different to you now? If I'm speaking,
so different.
Better, right?
No, it's just different.
Okay.
They both sounded good.
Okay, good. Because
kind of beautiful both ways.
I was talking to the wrong side of the mic for
Well, it sounded really good.
Thank you. The quarantine learning curve is real. Jennifer McAfee asks if you have a memorable stage door encounter.
Well, anything with Jen.
Oh, well, there you go.
She
Do
always gives
people?
me the most amazing flowers with the same color scheme, and I love them. And yeah, Jen's awesome.
Wait, that's so cute.
Oh
That's
yeah,
I
she's
love
awesome.
that.
I have to say, like the fans that I have and the human beings that they are, I'm like so lucky. It's pretty
Yeah,
phenomenal.
you're all being so sweet and lovely in these comment sections. Thanks for joining us. This is so fun. Did you find that people would follow you from like Hair to Wicked to If Then, like at different stage doors, or you're like, this is a fan from a different show now following me around?
No, I feel like, well, not Hair so much, like, but like with Wicked and If Then, it was like I definitely had like my fan base that I had like known from Hair, and then like some If Then, but then like after I met them in If Then, they followed me back to Wicked.
That's so cool. Broadway fans are the fucking best because
The best.
there's such a wonderful like accessibility with the stage door, and getting to see people live is just so great.
Also though, like the difference is that they make all of us Broadway performers feel like that we are like actually famous, when in all reality, outside of the like the 10 blocks of Broadway, like nobody knows who we are.
Isn't
Let's be
that
honest.
wild?
Oh my god, it was actually really fun, like, and humbling going to like LA, where it's like nobody gives a F about what you've done on Broadway. Like it does not matter. Like you
Yeah.
know, and you're like at an audition with like actual TV and movie stars like in the waiting room with you, and it's just a truly humbling experience where you're like, oh hey, I've watched you on, you know, 5 series, you know, like 5 seasons of Weeds, or like, you know, like American Pie, and now we're, you know, in the same audition, and like it's just crazy, and you have no idea who I am, and I know who you are, and like, you know, like it's just like it's pretty awesome.
But they aren't in playbells in people's bedrooms. My boyfriend is
Right.
cleaning out his place right now, and he picked up his Wicked playbill and he said, "Guess who it is?" And it was you.
Yay! But was it my second time? Because that was my best time.
It was 2010. It was your first time.
Oh, I wasn't as good then.
But
It was way better this last time.
isn't that cool that like, yes, it's very cool to be on TV and you live on forever in that way, but like you're so many people's first theater going experience.
No, it is.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. I still can't believe I'm like a little girl from Connecticut that like got to. I still can't believe, yeah, like I still pinch myself in the fact that like when I graduated from college, I saw Wicked when it was in previews, and I was like, I started crying at the second the orchestra started. It was the most visceral feeling I've ever had. And I feel like a dork saying this, but like I started crying, and I turned at the end of intermission to my mom, was like, I'm going to play this part someday. And like 8 years later to be in that dressing room was so like the odds. Like, I'm not saying I'm not talented, but just like, I mean, there are so many amazing women in the world. And just like, you know, I just like, I don't take for granted the fact that like, that's so epic, you
That
know?
is so epic. And then
Yeah.
so you played Elphaba in Wicked and you stood by for Adina.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was so cool. The day that like I met her, like when I was like, of all the people, I mean, like, and let me tell you, there were some fierce, I'm not going to say who was there, but like there were some fierce people at my final callback for the standby for Adina and If Then, that I was like, whew, this is some stiff competition. And to be to be playing, yeah, to understudy her and like walk in and like meet her and have her be like, oh my God. And she was so funny. She was like, oh my God, it's like looking in the mirror. And I was like, oh my, thank you. You know, like it just was like so weird and like surreal, as I like, you know, grew up listening to Rent and like,
Yeah.
you know, seeing her in that monumental role that I was like, oh my God, I feel like I was born to play that role. And like, yeah, to then take over from her in that role, like to be the first woman to replace her in that role was so cuckoo. It was very cuckoo, and I'm very thankful.
That is really awesome. And that cast, I mean, including you,
Oh my
but
God, are you kidding
LaShawn's
me?
Anthony Rapp. I always say it's like, sorry, Evan Hansen's broken arm. The most iconic cast on Broadway was If Then.
Oh my God, I can't, like I remember the first, so like when I was when we were rehearsing, Adina got sick, and I had, there was like a few days, there was 2 days that I So weird. I had to like sit by the piano and she was too sick to sing. So I sang for her while she like walked through and like lip synced to me, which was so weird. I was like, I cannot believe I'm like Adina Menzel's like lip syncing to me, like singing as she's
So
like
funny.
walking around. Like we were in New 42, like, you know what I mean? Just like rehearsing,
Yeah.
but it was just like so surreal. And then like anytime she had like some kind of press thing, when I would like step in and like be sitting on a bed with Anthony Rapp or like singing with LaShawns and Jen, and I was like, what is my, like, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Like LaShawns, like that $10,000 million smile that she has that just like lights up any room she walks into, and then she's just like the most incredible human being and performer ever. And then like Anthony Rapp, like what theater person did not grow up being like it with Anthony Rapp?
I
Like
know.
in there, I mean, like, come on. And now you're like sitting on a bed singing with him. I was like, what is happening? This is crazy.
That is
It was
so
very
amazing.
much like pinch me, like where I was like, don't be starstruck. Like, please be a good actor, Jackie. Like, don't geek out.
India Klein wants to know, thank you, India. What was the first show you ever saw?
The first Broadway show or the very first show?
I think just the very first show.
You know what's really funny? The very first show, I can't remember what it was, but it was a very big deal in the fact that it is how my parents found out that I was blind, and not blind, but like had very bad eyes and needed glasses. I've always been in love with theater and musicals. I used to grow up like watching Shirley Temple, and I danced and like I was obsessed. And so they brought me to the Bushnell, which is in Connecticut, like the regional like big theater, to a show, and I can't remember what it was, but I was, I think, 8 years old. And they said I was terrible during the whole show and like wouldn't pay attention. And they were so surprised because they were like, I normally like put me in front of like Shirley Temple movie and I like, you know, wouldn't talk forever. And because of that, they brought me to the eye doctor, and then they found out that like I was literally blind as a bat and couldn't see about from here on, you know, so like I didn't know what was going on. And that's how I found out that I needed glasses, is because of going to the theater. So it was just kind of funny. But my very first Broadway, isn't that funny? I was like, and I mean, I am like, I literally, I wake up in the morning to see the time, and I'm like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. You know, like it's so bad.
My glasses are this thick.
Yes,
I'm not kidding.
me too. What are you? Yeah. What's your prescription? Far or near?
I'm near. You?
So you can't see far away, but your near starts here.
Closer.
Yeah, like are you? I'm -5. What are you?
I'm negative. It literally just changed because it keeps getting worse, which is like not a great sign. But
yeah, but how old are you?
5. Just turned 5.
You're 5. Okay, just so you know, you're probably way younger than me, and just like it will level out. I promise you. It
will level out. I had a friend who got. Mine's so bad I can't get LASIK. Can you get LASIK?
Me too. Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah, I have such a bad stigmatism or whatever.
Yep.
My friend though got LASIK recently, and they fucked it up.
No.
Can you
That's
believe?
My biggest fear. I'm like, don't touch my eyes.
I know. Isn't that terrifying? His left eye, they like whatever they did in the lasering, they did it a little bit off, and he's like, my left eye is so blurry.
Wait, can they fix it?
I think there is an appointment to fix it. So fingers crossed. Isn't that
is
wild?
So stressful. I just went to the eye
stressful.
doctor, and they found lattice, which I didn't know what this is, in my eyes, which are like holes. So if like you get punched too hard or something like that, you could actually have like retinal detachment. So they were like, if you ever see like floaties or like you get tunnel vision or you see flashes of light, like please go see an eye doctor right away. And I was like, 2020 sucks.
I know. Why is this all bad?
I was so sick of this. Oh, but wait, the first show I saw on Broadway though was Grease with was it Rosie O'Donnell and Brooke Shields or something?
Yes, and Billy Porter.
It was everything, and but I'm not gonna say it was everything. It was good, but it was also like I would think I was 16, and I was like, oh yeah, I could be on stage with them. I was like, but I think that's just the nature of Grease, being that is the most hot mess musical ever, that you're like, any person's like, yeah, I could be on that. I could do that show.
Yeah, I think I could flick a cigarette and like.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, sure.
Like this.
Yeah.
I think I could go like this.
Yeah. Hand jive it out.
Okay. Yeah. Clap, clap, and
Sure.
fist. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I have to ask you because you did Wicked with Ashley Parker Angel. We are
Mm.
at a slumber party. I have to ask about him. Had you seen Making the Band before you did the show with him?
I
saw
also, what, you go tell me.
my best friend growing up on the school bus. Like, you know how every kid has like the one. Like, I'm gonna ask you, who was your like dream crush growing up?
Oh, my dream crush, Joey McIntyre.
No way.
Yeah.
Do Kids on the Block
Forever
forever?
you girl, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
come on.
Did you get to meet him through Wicked?
No, I was so sad. He was never one of my never one of my Fieras, and it was very upsetting.
I saw him.
I bet he was great,
He was
and I
great.
bet he would have left
So
me.
dreamy. I bet he would.
But I got another pop star, Ashley Parker Angel. So like, all is not lost.
My best friend on the school bus was so obsessed with him. Like, it was nonstop. She wouldn't stop talking about him. Wallpapered her bedroom,
He's real
covered
cute.
in Ashley Parker Angel. And then we got tickets to see Britney Spears in Cleveland, Ohio, and O-Town opened for her.
Yes,
so
Liquid
I
Dreams.
saw them live.
Liquid Dreams.
Did you just sing that song at him all the time backstage? Because I was.
Here's the thing about Ashley Parker Angel, which is so annoying. I wanted to dislike him so badly, especially after seeing his Instagram. I was like, absolutely not. He's a douche.
We're not gonna
Hot
be
mess.
friends. Yeah, no way.
He is genuinely one of the funniest. Like, you should not be that hot and be that funny. And we all know as comedians, especially, to be a comedian, you have to be so smart and quick. You really do. Like, comedians are some of the smartest human beings. You cannot be not intelligent to be like, you just like, comedians are the most intelligent, I feel personally. And he is so funny and so quick-witted where you're constantly left being like, absolutely not coming out of that face and body. Can you say something that funny? Like, screw you for being that. No, like, it would make me so mad. He is one of my favorite. He's still really good. I wish you could see our GIF. We only talk through GIFs and through voice text. We never actually text. It's all voice text or GIFs 24/7. Actually, it's my turn. And we always wait between 24 hours to 48 hours before either one of us write each other back to just like play the push-pull game of like, who's in power. You know what I mean? Like, who's got the upper hand?
Yes.
It's very important. And right now I am winning. Yeah, Ashley, and you know it. So, but he is so much more than just the sexy body and good hair and great face. Like, he is one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. So nice, but is so funny. It's annoying. He's one of my favorite people.
When God made him, God said,
it's annoying.
'Cause I want it all, or nothing at all.
I got my lighter.
That song was lit. I don't care what anybody says. They had a couple of great bangers.
And him and I just like last year did a bat mitzvah together and we nailed it.
Oh my God. I want you and him to release a cover of Liquid Dreams.
Oh my God. We would. I'll text him after this and be like, we've got a request, Ash. Where you call him APA. I call him APA because he's very important.
APA.
You know what I mean?
That
like,
song
APA.
really, that song was riding so hard on the Mambo number 5 wave. Where it was like, what if we just say girls' names in like a really sexual kind of misogynistic way? Will this be a hit? And it was
nailing it. Oh my God, Mambo number 5.
They were just like, the whole premise of those songs was just like a little bit of Jessica, a little bit of Miranda, a little bit of Sarah.
Because every girl was like,
that's my name.
Oh my God, he's totally talking about me. You're like,
Sure. You were, when you were mentioning TV earlier, I forgot to ask you, what are you watching in quarantine?
Okay, well, first of all, one of my number one things is, and I was gonna actually put this on my Instagram the other day because I feel like people really want to know what I'm watching. But then I forgot. Has anybody seen Outer Banks?
No, but someone was just telling me about it.
You're welcome. Get into it.
Okay.
First of all, I thought it was like a Love Island. Like I was like, oh, this is like a reality TV show. No, no, no. It is a treasure hunt, like murder mystery type of show. But the best thing about it is all the lead characters, especially the number one lead character, who's supposed to be 16, is literally in their 30s or like late 20s. And it gives people like me hope that I can still play a teenage role. I'm not scared. Like, and there's so many lines where he's like, I'm 16. And you're like, you're literally 30. It's so good. It's so and the writing is just like so bad but so good, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm not gonna lie to you, you're gonna have to watch 2 episodes before you get into it. You're gonna be like, no, absolutely not. And after the second episode, I promise you, Tim, you're gonna be like, oh, what's going on with, you know, JJ and like John Boy and like, or whatever, John B and all this, you know, it's so good. It's so good, and I can't wait till the next season.
I can't wait.
It's so
I cannot
good.
wait to watch that. Are you watching Selling Sunset?
Oh, well, I have been watching that forever.
I just got into it for the first time.
Come on.
Literally 2 days ago.
Where have you been?
I've watched almost the whole thing in 2 days. It is unbelievable television.
It's so good. But I'm like, where have you been?
I hadn't even heard of it until this quarantine.
You're welcome. What about have you watched oh God, what is it? It was like kind of like a soft core porn, but it wasn't. It was so good. The Irish TV show with the two, God, and they're in high school and then they like go through college. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. It was like something normal. Next to normal.
Something next to normal would be
next
okay.
Next to normal. It was next to normal. So funny because Kyle Dean just texted me yesterday. I reminded me I need to
oh my God.
No, God, something good people. Normal people.
Nice.
Have you seen this?
No.
Pop it in, watch it with your boyfriend. You're welcome.
Normal people.
It was a book. They turned it in, like the 2 lead actors are so genius. It's a masterclass. And also like cinematography wise, it is one of the most beautifully shot TV shows that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there's always Selling Sunset. That's like your TV gold. But if you want a little bit more like artsy, genius acting, gorgeous cinematography, and also a little like softcore porn, like that's where you're gonna go for it.
That speaks to me. Everything you just said really speaks to me.
And then if you want to watch somebody who's 30 playing a 16-year-old and making you feel like there is still hope for all of us to play high school students, like go for Outer Banks.
I really do want that as well.
You know what I mean?
So much.
Yeah.
What were your slumber parties like growing up?
Oh my God, slumber parties growing up. So like I danced from 3 to 17 and my whole life was like dancing, especially tap dancing. So like, and I had a duet partner, Christina, who actually so lovely. 2 weeks ago, I had an audition where I had to tap and I hadn't tapped in like a long, long time since I had been 17. So if you do the math, it's been a long, long time. And she just like taught me a tap dance and all this stuff. Anyways, she was my duet partner. She has a dance studio now here in Connecticut. And we used to just like watch all of our old dance videos, like dance recitals. Like, so we'd have like sleepovers and like watch our old dance recital videos. And that was a lot. And do you remember Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
I've not. The song or the movie? Oh
my God, I cannot believe you haven't watched that with Sarah Jessica Parker and I can't believe I'm forgetting her name because she's so famous from oh my God. I want like the chat board should be like letting you know.
Help us out. Tell us.
It's with
you're the second Elphaba to shame me for not seeing this movie.
Wait, who else saw it?
Jenna Lee Green was like, it's my favorite movie of all time.
It's my favorite movie of all time. Okay,
I love Tim, that it's both of yours.
Dead. It is the best movie ever. It was like a grow-up staple. It's with, what's her name? What's Mad About You? Remember that TV show, Mad About You?
Helen Hunt?
Yeah. Thank you, with Helen Hunt. And there's this
Okay.
one part where she like hairsprays her hair and then hairsprays like this dog who's like flame elbows. Anyway, you have to see the movie. It's so dated now, but it's like this
Helen Hunt.
dance movie where they go out for like dance TV and like it's like you gotta watch it tonight. You and your boyfriend better watch it tonight or the next
I'm
night.
watching it. I'm watching it tonight because you said that, and everyone has been pitching me on this movie for a long time. And I gotta say, I just have like a weird SJP blind spot where I'm just like not as familiar with her stuff. No one has said Helen Hunt, and that's the way in for me.
Helen
Because
Hunt
I
is
love
genius
her.
in this.
Love her.
She's so good in this.
As good as it gets. Are you an As Good as It Gets fan?
I mean, who isn't? That's like one of the best movies ever. But this is young Helen Hunt. So it is so like she's like young high school Helen Hunt and is so good. And she plays like kind of like this badass cool chick that like is just so good. So good.
I'm gonna have to watch this. I feel like that was the moment I realized what acting was in As Good as It Gets, when Jack Nicholson like crosses a line when she's waiting tables and he says something horrible about her son and she like stops playing the game with him and she sits down and she like gets really calm and she looks him right in the eyes and she says, "Don't ever mention my son again." And it's like the most powerful. You're like
absolutely, yes, Miss Hunt.
And they won Oscars that one of the biggest years for movies of all time.
Wait, did they both win that year?
They both won Best Actress and Best Actor.
Because that movie was like.
But that year's like one of the biggest years ever. It was Titanic. It was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Good Will Hunting. It was LA Confidential, 1997, baby. That was the year.
1997. Oh my God, I don't even want to know how old you were because that makes me feel bad about myself.
If I'm 5 now, I would have been negative.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, carry the 1 minus a 0.
Rosanna Pansina, thank you, Rosanna, wants to know, how was your first ride up on the lift? By that I mean, how did it feel to fly?
You know what's so funny is like a lot of people have asked me that, like what it is like for your your very first one. Let me tell you, girlfriend, you do not remember it at all because you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe I have to do this and sing this song. And you're so freaked out, at least for me, you're so freaked out about like, let me make sure I sing this song right, that you forget that you're kind of flying. And the other thing is that you have all these lights in your eyes that you don't realize how high you are until after you finish and the curtain comes down and then they fly you down. And that's when you realize how high you are. You're like, oh God, when you're like literally getting lifted down and like the crew guys come out and you're on, you know, like the curtains come down and you're like, oh wow, I was really, really high. But you cannot tell how high you are when you're up there because all the lights that are in your eye, there's no, you have no, the depth perception. Yeah. Thank you. Is like, it really doesn't feel like you're high at all, at least for me. And I'm very afraid of heights. And I have no idea that I've ever, like, it's not high at all until you finish. And then at that point you're like, oh, I'm coming down. So it's not a big deal. You know?
Oh, that's really interesting. That's very cool intel.
Yeah. I love that. It's really not. You can't tell. Like, think about it. When you have all those spotlights in your eyes, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's why I love performing in big houses too, is like, I freak out when I have to do like a 54 below or like a small cabaret where I can actually see people. I'm like, oh God, no, that is like my biggest fear. Give me like a huge stadium or like a big theater. Then I'm like, okay, because I can't really see how big the theater is. That's another thing. When I go on tour, I never allow myself to really look out in the house until the last day. After I finish my last day and I always walk out and look at how big the house was. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was a big one. Okay. I'm glad I didn't know it was that big. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, all right. Wow. Especially because the houses on the road are so much bigger than Broadway houses. Like there's some houses that are like 5 tiers high and you're like, holy sugar, that was a lot of people, you know, like
sugar. Yeah.
You know,
that's such a good point. It is really hell on earth to play a small room. When you can see people's reactions, it's like, it's so hard.
So hard. You're like, please like me. And then when you can't see him, you're like, okay.
Okay, this is great. This is a sea of darkness.
Yeah, in my mind, you're loving me.
You're this sea of people is having the time. I can't see, but I know you're going, yes,
Yes, yes, yes. It's like right now, if we could, if we could see everybody watching and they were all like, you know, but right now I'm like, everyone's loving us.
That is, doing stand-up though has been such an interesting
Oh God,
experience
stand-up
with
is
that
the hardest
because
thing ever.
you have to look at people. It's like you're not acting. You're like supposed to make them feel like you're talking directly to them, and sometimes you are. Dee, in fact, came to my show, and I'm a super fan of hers. So, but I was, like you're saying, the adrenaline was rushing so hard, and I was doing my hour in New York City, and I was so excited. And I do a section called "Hot People, How Dare You," where I go into the audience and I scream "How dare you" in hot people's faces. And so I walk up to this gorgeous woman, and I was like, "Hi, what's your name?" And she was like, "D." And I was like, are you an Elphaba? She was like, "I was, yeah." And I was just like, like completely, I literally froze and fell backwards, like into a different audience, did like a pratfall backwards because I was so taken aback. I was like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh my God. And did you know that did she go with Ben?
She went with Ben, and I am good friends with Ben. So like it was all kind of hitting me at once, but I didn't know. I knew he was coming to the show. I didn't know he was going to bring her. And I had like a lot of friends and family there that night. So I like just wasn't really thinking about it. And it literally like all hit me in the moment. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. But what I was going to say was sometimes you'll do a show and people literally look at you like they want you dead. Like
Dead.
I did a show recently where this girl was looking at me the whole time like this. And then afterwards, she came running up to me and was like, "That was hilarious. Do you have any advice?" I was,
and you're like, "What?"
Really?
And you're like, "You were the one who ruined my set because I was freaking out about you hating me." I know. It's so funny. I have to admit though, like when I love something, I have to catch myself because when I really am like enthralled with somebody and something I'm watching, this is my face. Like literally, like my mouth is open and I have to like remember that sometimes people can see me and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna think I don't like it, where I literally am like so enthralled and so in awe of what they're doing that I just am like agape. Like
that is so real. That is so
it's so bad. And so like whenever I see somebody who like that's what I think to myself. I'm like, maybe they're like me and they have like resting like in awe face that is not attractive. Like we all
resting
have it.
in awe face. Resting in awe face. Caroline B wants to know, what's the first musical theater role you ever played?
Oh, it was when I was 13, I played Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty at the Iverton Playhouse. And and I was very upset that I didn't get Sleeping Beauty. But little did I know that I was setting myself up for a career of being a witch.
Yeah, there you go. And Maleficent is truly one of the best.
Oh my God. But I didn't know that Angelina Jolie hadn't made it cool then. You know what I mean? This is when I was young. So like now I'm like, yeah, I was Maleficent. But before then it was like, oh, you were the witch. Like she didn't even have the name Maleficent. You were just the witch.
The Sleeping Beauty witch.
And now it's Maleficent. So like,
but even before Ms. Jolie made her the rebranded her, if you will, I always loved Maleficent because when people used to ask the question, here's a good slumber party question for you. When people would ask me the question, what Disney character would you sleep with if they come to life? I always said Maleficent, and I still stand by that. But of course, the other true answer is King Triton because
yes.
But who's yours?
because I mean like I was like just like watching. Yeah, Maleficent is like hot and like badass and dangerous. And also I have to say, like my dad said this to me and it resonates with me, and it's still like from that day forward, because I did come home very upset, and he was like, Jackie, the bad guys are the best characters to play. He was like, and I was like, no, they're not. And I was like, you always hate the bad people. Like, he was like, then they did their job. He was like, when you watch a movie and you hate them, those are great actors, Jack. Like in my young self, I didn't understand it. And now it's like, or not now, but like, like 20 years later or whatever, like when I was like, in college, I was like, oh my God, he was so right. They are the most amazing roles to play. And I love when somebody's like, I love watching a movie and where you hate that villain so much where you're like, that fucking asshole. I'm like, oh God, I'd leave like 2 seconds later, you're like, God, it's a good actor. Cause like you are getting under my skin in a way that is so delicious and like amazing. And like, that's a great actor. Like those are the fun roles.
Yeah.
And like now I love that I get to play those kind of roles. You know what I mean?
I
Because they're
always love the
so
villain.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tobias Torres has a random question, says super random. If there's a huge height difference between the lead and the standby, can the lift be adjusted? What a hardball question.
Yes, it can. And it always is adjusted.
Ooh.
You're smart.
Fun
I was like, you're smart AF.
Yeah, dang,
yes.
What a good question.
And actually it's like, yeah, like the lift, has like arms that go across you and yeah, they like will shift like how wide the arms go or how narrow the arms go or how like high the plate is that you're standing on, because you can only if I was like so much taller than the standby and then the standby went on and it's lower and then I went on, then I could fall forward and fall out. So like they have to be able to lift the arms. So yes, they lift it according to the height of the Elphaba that's going on. That's really smart.
Yeah, what an intuitive question. These
Okay,
I
would have never known that. And the only reason why I knew that is because one day I had gone on after my standby had gone on and it was like a lift check because there was something wrong with the lift the night before when I wasn't in. And I got in and the arms went in and I was like, wait, this doesn't feel right. And they were like, oh God, sorry, it's the wrong height. And they fixed it. And I was like, what do you mean wrong height? And they're like, oh, there's different heights for everybody because, you guys are all different heights. And I was like, I had no idea. So you're a genius because I didn't even know. And I think I was in the show for like 2 years at that point before I figured it out.
Yeah, and I like consider myself a wicked connoisseur. I've never thought of that
Tim,
question.
you're wrong. You didn't know. Oh my God, sorry, my dog
learning.
is snoring. That is not me if you heard it.
Oh my God.
She is like full on and like twitch. Oh God, I wish I could like her paws are like
I see her twitching a little bit. She's having a dream she's running.
She's snoring so hard.
Oh my gosh. I think it's that time of the show that we like to call, wait, let's have fun.
Oh my God, yes, I'm ready.
So in Wait, Let's Have Fun, we play Slumber Party games. So we're going to take this over to the Patreon. For those of you who want to keep watching, you can sign up for my Patreon. And if you do that, you can also get access to the Jessica Vosk one and the D one and Jenna Lee Green and everybody. And that'll be up in like an hour. But before we do that, I want to do one with you on the live because I think it's going to be really fun.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you remember these?
Yes.
Cootie catchers? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a wicked themed fortune teller for you. Okay. So I'm going to tell your future and all the answers are wicked themed. So go ahead, Jackie, pick a color.
Green.
Green. 4, 7, 3, or 8?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is so fun. 4, 7, 3, or 8 again.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. And one last time. 4, 7, 3, or 8.
4.
Okay. Your fortune is you monopolize travel on the yellow brick road. You're the MTA of Munchkin Land. Everyone hates you, but it doesn't matter because you're rich.
Oh, yeah! Fierce! I don't care. Everyone can hate me. I promise I'll win them back. I'm super nice. So like, and then I'm also rich. So like.
So it works out. We're going to do another one. We'll see what your other fortune is on the Patreon. But before we leave, where can the people find you if they want to follow you on the socials?
Where can you find me? On Instagram? This is where I'm bad. I can tell you what my Instagram is. I just don't know. What is my Instagram? How do you find that? How do you find your Instagram? Oh, I know it. You guys, it's at Jackie Burns NYC. And it's
at
just
Jackie
really,
Burns NYC.
Yeah, it's really quality content. So like I highly suggest you follow me. Or on Twitter or on Facebook. And I think it's all Jackie Burns NYC.
Perfect. Well, there you go. People are putting it in the comment section. Christine, thank you so much.
Is
At Jackie
it?
Burns NYC. Oh, and quickly before we leave, Rosanna asked one more question. Do you know what the grippy part of the broom is made of?
The grippy part of the room? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone asked that when Dee was in the chat too, but I didn't ask it because I don't know what that means. The grippy part of the broom.
I mean, there are multiple brooms. So it's not the same broom the whole show. So like there's the fight broom. That's the broom that you like throw down to the ground when you and Glinda fight. Then there's your other the broom that are you thinking the grippy broom? I think I know what you mean. So there's three brooms. So there's the fight broom, and then there's the broom that you stick to. It just depends on tour versus Broadway. It's different. So like, are you thinking about the broom that you stick when you're in the wizard's chamber?
She says like the green part.
Yeah, so you're thinking about the sticky part that like sticks because you like stick it for the wizard part. That's just like a Velcro type of like material. And then you have your actual broom that you use like for defying gravity, because they're all different woods, because like the like actual broom and the fight broom are different woods, because the fight broom gets thrown where your other broom never gets thrown, right? And then you have the broom that you stick.
Did you feel so fierce the first time you picked up the broom? Were you like, ugh?
No, I think I was still too afraid. I don't think I was really ever ready to like take on how cool I was with the broom. I don't think I had the confidence of that until my second time on Broadway. That's when I was like, oh yeah, no, I deserve and I own this broom. But like the first time that I had it, like I was like, I don't know what to do with this. You know what I mean? Like, who said that this was okay? Really? Is you sure? Okay, sure, I'll try, like, and you know what, I'm pretty sure that every single girl feels the exact same way as me, but they won't say it out loud because they don't want you guys to know that they're insecure. But I bet you almost my entire life that every single woman, at least the first 6 months of their performance, was like, holy shit, I cannot believe I'm doing this. And please let me not lose my voice. And please let me not ruin this sanctuary of a show that everybody loves so much, because there is so much writing on it, and the fact that like Wicked has become this thing bigger than we even understand. It's come this like worldwide phenomenon, and so like it's a massive legacy to uphold. And I don't think there's one girl that's played Elphaba or Glinda that doesn't at some point within the first few months of them playing that role think like, holy shit, am I worthy of this? So yeah, but then then you do get it. You get to the point where you feel confident, where you're like, yeah, this is mine and I own this and let's go, right? It's
yes.
so yeah,
because we are practicing getting out of our own way.
Get out of our own way, yes.
Get out of our own way. That's right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you want to watch more, head on over to the Patreon. And Jackie, thank you so much. What a damn blast.
A blast.
This is so fun.
Yay!
Bye, you guys.